This is Tamika Suttles with UC7 Private Investigations. You can email me at UC7 Private Investigations with the letter S after investigations at gmail.com. My telephone number is 763-951-9882, 763-951-9882, and it will be at the bottom link to this page. Also, the other two telephone numbers that, if I could still get access because they're being hacked, is 218-221-3299 and also 763-313-5772. They also connect to my business, UC7 Private Investigation and UC7 Universal Connection 777. I'm currently here at the Minneapolis Telecommunications Network Station Studios. It is located at 820 18th Avenue Northeast, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55418. You could contact Val and Troy at 612-331-8575, or you can email them at www.mtnstudios.org. If you're an upcoming artist looking to have your talent discovered or learn the television industry, please come check out the promotions and membership here. Also, if you are here to learn television production or stage setup, also come and check out the memberships and promotions here. Val and Troy make you feel like family here. Come join the winning team, and you will become from a shelled stage fright person into a beautiful butterfly, knowing the whole television industry, stage setup, and if you're an artist, how to, do what's necessary to get your talents promoted. I am currently doing my television production training, so you're going to have to excuse any bloopers, but my UC7 Galactic Productions television studios is being trained as we speak right now. They have multiple live stream capabilities, so I'm currently using a live stream doing this like a one queen army right now, so you have to excuse any bloopers as I walk you through each series of my public service announcement and legal notice that's airing on Channel 16, the government access channel. And as my training persists, Channel 17, you will see my art side of me, which is the artist and upcoming artist channel if you're trying to be discovered. And Channel 75 is for the gospel and spiritual and faith side of you. If you have spoken word or you want to get something out about gods and goddesses and the Most High and biblical, Torahs, Quran, whatever, all religions are welcome. We are no discriminatory of studio, and we believe everybody is a family. So come in knowing nothing, but leave knowing everything you need. So come check out the promotions and memberships with the MTN studios, known as the Minneapolis Telecommunications Network in Northeast Minneapolis, which the link will also be below. Today, I am currently bringing you through UC7 Galactic Productions, and you can email me at UC7 Galactic Productions, the number 8, after the letter S in productions at gmail.com. I'm bringing you a public service announcement and legal notice servicing all parties through a $42.7 billion plus an asset lawsuit that is due to me, and I will go backwards in chronological order of what made this $42.7 billion legal notice and public service announcement TV broadcasting able and why it's being broadcasted today. Today I am using my supreme common law unalienable birthright methods that was granted before any courts was enacted. Before the government was acted in the late 1800s, early 1900s, after the wars, we had township people way methods of recording deaths, birth certificates, legal notices, using the old Magna Carta laws before the Constitution was adopted, which is your supreme common law unalienable birthrights, which no man should be denied a fair trial, due justice, or being able to seek justice. And we used to do it in the middle of the outside lands, and they used to be called public trials, to where there was either hangings, a death by execution, family getting justice, where they had a little small building where they used to call it the county recorder and deeds, where these old school archive logs used to record your marriages, your births, your deaths, any legal notices, any businesses opening up, like back in the Western days. But it was pretty much everywhere. These are laws and rights you do have and can assert before the courts was enacted. And I had to do the investigation and research to be able to let you know why I had to assert that. So today, my public service announcement is brought to you by, Supreme Common Law Methods, and it's me servicing through a television production public announcement network station, Channel 16 Government Access Channel, putting all the sectors that I need to serve these legal notices and public announcements through, that can't say that I didn't take it an extra step. Now, I also registered it on the local newspapers, like you do assume names, or like they require when you operate, bartering and operating in UCC commerce. What's the first thing they have you do? Go register your assumed name. What's the second thing they do? Go register with the county recorder and deeds. What's the third thing they have you do? They have you post it and do a public announcement, even through seizures and assets and forfeitures through your local newspaper, so no one can say they was not notified. Well, all those methods took place, and I'm going to walk you through a course of series. It's going to go from currently to what made this $42.7 billion lawsuit accessible and granted to me, because it went uncontested, unrefuted, unrebutted, and through the common law rights, the supreme common law rights, in every court of law, it stands as truth and fact in any one of them, because they all had a chance and they failed to follow the requirements, same as they enforce on us. You can assert, invoke, and enforce it back, and that's what I had to do. I am calling the 4th Judicial District Court, known as the Government Center, case number 27CR14-11243, done by Judge William Cook, Judge Carrie Meyer, Judge Carolina Lamas, Judge Jamie Anderson, Referee Anthony Schumacher, Judge Tamara Garcia, Judge Karen Janice, and also Judge Robert Small, shall I say prosecutor/Judge Paul Scoggin, prosecutor Bradley Reed Johnson, which is now I might be judge for Anoka, Peter Johnson, the new prosecutor that's prosecuting the legal case, and all the public defenders, which is known as Emmett Donnelly, Karen Newton, and Elizabeth Newdale. You are hereby put on public notice to cease and desist from case number 27CR14-11243. That case was done back in April of 2014. The address you ruined of my property is 2106 25th Avenue North, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55411. The car you illegally seized and had it sold the day before I got off the illegal detainment and probable cause hold was sold June 18, 2014, which was a day before my release, and y'all made me lose my house and my car. And there's a cease and desist affidavit notice that was asserted through common law right methods that is enforced, invoked, and asserted. Also, there's a letter of intent for fees you owe me, and I'm about to get into further details. So with that case number 27CR14-11243 that was done through November 2014, federal status of removal connected to federal civil court case number 14CR368. That is a status of removal where any public person can remove a state criminal or civil matter to the federal courts if there's any constitutional right tort violations, or if there are any due process right violations, which there are many. That case was prosecuted through forgery, non-judge true signatures of electronic uploads where you sign a pad, like you go to Walmart, you sign a pad and you upload the link. No, these cases was done through judges, or shall I say police officers, typing these judges' names in and not registering and not certifying and not doing a proper protocol and procedure, which was policing for profit to meet quota. And it hurt a lot of people's ability to operate in commerce, especially mine. You are to cease and desist from that case from the status of removal connected to from case number 27CR 14-11243 connected to federal civil court status of removal case 14CR 368, which all judges recused themselves due to the major conflict of interest, them failing to affirm their oaths, the fact that they failed to give their oath in office bonds on top of affirming their oaths. Their surety bonds and professional liability insurance you must assert before you wager a claim of a criminal complaint, which most courts are done through civil filing and processes. People need to know your rights. I'm invoking, enforcing, and asserting you violated Minnesota Revisor Statute 57424, which also connects to the second judicial district court case number done by Judge Gail Bohr and Jennifer Frisch that probated violated me through, and that case was done by a prosecutor's signature, and it was originally closed, and you could check the facts. A prosecutor only signed case number 62CR10-1465. It was a politically motivated case. Sergeant Tyrone Strickland closed it. Somebody did a political move, Mark Dayton and some other people opened it back up because they were trying to politically sabotage Jill Eleanor Clark, who was my lawyer on that case number 62CR10-1465, who was running for Chief Justice seat of the Minnesota Supreme Courts against Lori Gilday. I am one of the clients who got politically assassinated with defamation and slander of character through false imprisonments and legal detainments and BCA backgrounds for your ability to operate in commerce, ruined, slandered, defamed, and messed up my ability to house, get jobs, get any type of credit. They ruined me, just like they did Jill Clark when she was running against Lori Gilday. It was a political assassin move. The case was closed. It was done by a prosecutor's signature. So remember, 62CR1465, cease and desist, and fully seal and nullify that record, Judge Gail Bohr, Judge Jennifer Frisch, and Sergeant Tyrone Strickland, and also the other people connected for your political gain moves to that case that probated, violated me in 2014, that Gail Bohr retired right after that to that stage setup case 27CR14-11243 connected to the 4th Judicial District where Judge William Cook, Prosecutor Paul Scoggin, everybody got political gain, favors, and upgrades right when Gail Bohr retired, right before that case happened and after. Patrick Mariotti, which is the detective of 27CR14-11243, he retired and got a nice settlement, which is he's related to the chief public defender, Mary Mariotti, in some sort of way, and did some political favor that locked me up and ruined my life. Those cases connect also back to 52 plus other cases that they forced prosecutors, public defenders, and judges on me, violating the original 13th Amendment, which was ratified, that you're in violation of the Libra Code with. Not just that, you're in violation because you guys are getting paid through the Minnesota Management and Budgets, EIN, which is Employee Identification Number and Tax Identification Number. And you violated my 6th Amendment right to a fair, competent legal counsel of choice when you wagered those claims and collateral of criminal complaints against me that hindered and ruined my background, that violated Minnesota Revisor Statute 574.24, which you must provide sureties and securities through professional liability insurance, surety bonds, and other oath in office bonds and affirmations of oaths in case you are in violation of your duty requirements. And I enforced, invoked, and asserted it, and you failed to honor, and you're still failing me. So I'm servicing you on public television. I will be back to you after these messages. Two of my second segment, me servicing legal notice and public announcements to the 4th Judicial District Government Courts and the judges, prosecutors, and public defenders that was forced upon me, and also the 2nd Judicial District Kellogg, St. Paul branch judges, prosecutors, and public defenders that was forced upon me during these cases of political gains, defamation, slander, that wagered illegal collateral of my bartering ability to operate and commerce through the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. They put illegal criminal cases on my BCA record, which deals with housing, which deals with jobs, bartering and commerce, and credit lines that they ruined and slandered. I'm enforcing and invoking, you violated the original 13th Amendment, which you cannot be paid and collect office and seat. You have to be a neutral mediator. And that was what they were talking about, the violation of the Libra Code with Pope Francis and everybody else of that July 14, 2014 Libra Code letter sent to Obama. So you guys knew you was in violation of the original 13th Amendment and the Libra Code when you put these claims and wagered this collateral against my background that ruined me. I'm letting you know up front. Case number 27CR1411243 that is connected to the 4th Judicial District Government Center and all the judges, prosecutors, and public defenders. You are in violation of Libra Code. You're in violation of the original 13th Amendment, and you're in violation of that 574.24. You wagered the claim. You must have sureties and securities as officers and officials of law that cause liability and harm to any person, and each person that did it all must have professional liability insurance through the Minnesota's Lawyers Mutual Fund and your Minnesota Lawyers Trust Fund known as TOLA, which the case number to that TOLA I will be releasing after this segment to seize upon for the $42.7 billion lawsuit that you owe your portion of that I had to file through Supreme Common Law methods. Also, you must cease and desist from any further illegal detainment and false imprisonment. For every sheriff, law enforcement, CIA, FBI, marshals, you must affirm your oaths before coming near me, and you must stay away from you legally abusing your authority like they did. When I service you with this proof of service, you must go arrest them for in violation, and you must go seize their assets that I'm requesting as securities, because you affirmed your oath to carry out these duty requirements, and I'm affirming and asserting and invoking that you do, or you lose your job and you stand down from office and seat in your authority position, and you find someone that will, or stand out my way from threatening to kill me, shoot me, false imprison me, or legally detain me like before, and you will be subject to the same seizure requirements under 574.24, just like the other ones. I'm requesting their surety bonds of any sort, professional liability insurance of any sort, their oath in office bonds of all sorts, of every sort, with all of them, and your affirmation of oaths, which none of you did accurately because you're in violation of the Libra Code and the 13th Amendment, and you know it. So I'm putting you on notice today to say, when you get this video requirement, you cannot deny it a little bit, because it was already done through newspaper and it was done through the county recorder and deeds. So you can quit lying to the public. You must stay away from me with your police vehicles, your sheriff's vehicles. You must stay away from me with your weaponry and technology you harass me with. You must stand down, cease and desist, stop, and you must pay for the damages you caused to my body and my health and my defamation of my record and background and character and slander that I'm invoking, enforcing, asserting why you owe me through 574.24 of a revised statute of your professional liability insurance, surety bonds, and your oath in office bonds, because it all carry fees you owe and damages, and it's like insurance for when you mess up your duty requirements. I am invoking you pay me from your portion of the $42.7 billion of all those bonds you're supposed to have operating and bartering in UCC commerce that you enforce on the public. We can enforce those same laws back at you. I invoke to enforce it. I assert to enforce it, and I enforce to enforce it as a private investigator and a private person who asserted my free woman status, free man status for my Harrison generations, that you must stand down from attacking, harassing, or coming near or trying to arrest, illegally detain, or force your illegal laws on that you are not upholding yourself. We can invoke it back, and you're being put on public notice to be inhabited, enforced, and invoked. So you follow what you enforced on us. And I am here servicing you with proof of service through television, public service, government access channel 16. Now, with that, now we know 4th Judicial District and 2nd Judicial District, which is Hennepin and Ramsey County, cases numbers 27CR 1411243 of a case that they keep fraud in the Department of Treasury and Federal Reserve through the Minnesota Management and Budget, along with case number 62CR 10465, which Ramsey County is fraud in the Department of Treasury and the Federal Reserve Bank with these fall key count cases, because when they submit through payroll, which is the Minnesota Management and Budget on 658 Cedar Street, which is the 4th floor, they're submitting payments that they're saying that they're administering justice, forcing us to pay taxes, forcing us to go to jail and debt prison off their debts and payments and paychecks and pensions they're gaining off enslaving us, and that's not accurate. And I'm calling you out on that right now. You must cease and desist from hurting me. You must seal and nullify every record, which is 52 plus cases that shows on the BCA background record that I did expungement on, which was July 5th, 2018, in front of Richard Trakey in room 1055 of the Government Center. I had did a 54 case dismissal, expungement, and seal of records so I can obtain employment utilizing my private investigative license. I can obtain employment utilizing my Class A CDL because I'm dealing with freight. And I can obtain housing and move away from this research program, housing project you've been illegally doing that MK Ultra on me on. And harassing me with that stingray, you local cops and governments that's trying to join the Illuminati in Minnesota. Which brings me to why I'm servicing y'all this 52 plus case, immediate force, cease and desist, and immediate seal and fully nullify of all records, because you illegally waged me as collateral and messed up my ability to barter in commerce, navigate in commerce, operate in commerce, do business in commerce, or even get credit in commerce. You did a political slander, assassin attempt through defamation of character, and I'm calling you out because you're in violation of 574.24 Minnesota Revisor Statute. And as I did my investigating, I noticed that you all are getting paid through the Minnesota Management and Budget on 658 Cedar Street, which pays all state entities income and payroll, which all your mission statements say you're here to help the public. If we have a claim to show that y'all illegally broke the law and abused your authorities, but it's a conflict of interest because y'all all getting paid through the Minnesota Management and Budget. So there's no neutral mediator for the public, and which brings me to why I had to do what I had to do through Supreme Common Law method in servicing of these affidavits. And the reason why I'm saying is I had to go to 658 Cedar Street. I found out the Minnesota Management and Budget pays the 4th Judicial District Court judges, prosecutors, and public defenders. You know what that means? That public defender, Emmett Donnelly, Elizabeth Newdale, and Marilyn Knutson, you forced on me to 27 CR 1411243 of the Government Center, connected to that Forrest Jarvis mental health case, 27 MHPR 15496, when you forced Jarvis and strapped me in chairs and linked me to Hell Dog, which uploaded that MK Ultra y'all put up in Minnesota. You are in violation of 574.24. You must cease and desist from those illegal technology harassment attacks and that medicine that you put on me, because these microchips you legally administered when you strap me in chairs and this other stuff are malfunctioning. Not just that, it connects to the 2nd Judicial State Court for St. Paul, 62 CR 101465, and 52 other cases of random ticketing of driving, which is parking tickets, and other tickets that you force other public defenders to act as administrators and trustees to my estate, how you build a Department of Treasury and bill the human public to pay for y'all debt through the Department of Treasury and Federal Reserve through our birth certificate, bond, Uc7 numbers, and our social security numbers. And you violated me there. And you caused me a lot of false imprisonment, and you violated my Sixth Amendment right. I'm invoking, enforcing, and asserting all you courts, judges, prosecutors, and public defenders are in violation of this petitioner, Tamika Latoya Suttles, constitutional right of the Sixth Amendment. And that's right to fair, legal, mutual, unbiased counsel of choice when you wagered those debt prison claims against me through those criminal complaints of all those cases you won my background with, and you took my state taxes and you still didn't seal and close. So Richard Trakey, Mr. 1055, who failed to remove those cases, your surety bond, professional liability insurance, oath in office bond, and earth and affirmation you never affirmed, yours being asserted here today too. And you will seal and you will nullify all those records, because your pension, your job, and your background record is now being wagered from what you illegally did to me. I am asserting it through public service TV right now. I'm invoking it through public service TV right now, and I am enforcing it through public service TV right now, and any other time after that I already did through newspaper and other affidavit means of supreme common law methods you've been denying me from. And it's my inalienable right when you're in violation of abusing your authority, the Libra Code, and the original 13th Amendment of all y'all. I am serving. Now, seal my record and nullify it now. There's no other option. 24 hours, I better get a letter that my ability to operate, barter, travel, and do what's necessary in commerce so I can finish serving the other people that's in violation in sectors that's in violation of abusing their authority, Libra Code, and original 13th Amendment with their part of the lawsuit they owe me of their professional liability insurance, bonds, and policy information, all surety bonds, governmental, municipal bonds, and surety bonds you owe me for violation of abusing your authority and failing to do your duty requirements. Your oath in office bonds, when you took oath office, seat, position, or the ability to assert authority of law, like you law enforcement agencies, all sectors, you're in violation. You must affirm your oath and give me your oath in office bond information that's supposed to be at the Secretary of State and the County Recorder of Deeds that I have not been able to locate. And when the ones that I did, it's not valid, it's not up to date, and there are no affirmed oaths under 28 USC 453 that I'm invoking all you affirm 28 USC 453, so help me God's affirmation of oath, and also your oath in office bonds to be attached and asserted, and your professional liability insurance that you force on the public to be attached and asserted, and everything else that needs to when you fail to do your duties. I'm enforcing, asserting, and invoking it today, every day, even I already did through the newspaper and through affidavits that you keep failing, that's connected to federal civil court case number 17 CV 4066 at the Minneapolis Federal Civil Court filing downtown, across the street from the old City Hall building. The federal courthouse case number 174066 is another public court docket I filed it on. Whether the judges recused themselves or not, that also links to federal case numbers 15 CV 3373, 15 CV 3152, and 14 CR 368, which all judges recused themselves because they failed to affirm their oaths. They knew they're in violation. They failed to affirm and provide the oath of 28 USC 453 of oaths and justices and judges that join the government and seat. You must do the 28 USC 453 affirming, and you must apply a surety bond and a professional liability insurance information in case you fail to do your duty requirements or you cause somebody injury under 574.24 and many other laws. which everybody failed to do. So the federal courts are in violation. You all notice those case numbers, and they will be at a link below. The state court note you are in violation of 574.24, the Libra Code, original 13-minute, and also the failing to affirm of 28 U.S.C. 453 of your oath in office, so help me God version. That's the one I want. And also your oath in office bonds, 30 bonds, the professional liability insurance you're supposed to assert once you take that 253 of affirmation of oath, and nobody honored that. And I'm calling all sectors from city, local, state, federal, international, all across the earth's planet to it. I'm enforcing it on you. I'm invoking and I'm asserting it on everybody. Cease and desist. There's a letter of intent for 42.7 billion owed to me, and I'm waiting for that as we speak. I will be after you after this commercial break. This is Tamika Suttles with Uc7 Private Investigations. I'm at the Minneapolis Telecommunications Network station over the Northeast. Today is December 20, 2018. This is part 3 of my segment. Now, I already did a public service announcement and proof of service in all state and federal courts and government sector bodies that are in violation of Minnesota Revised Statute 574.24, which if you wager the security against the public that stop their ability to barter and operate commerce, you must provide collateral to cover the damage and fees. That's what pretty much Revised Statute 574.24 means. All state cases, city, state, local, federal, and international sectors throughout Minnesota, Indiana, and the other parts of the earth continent that wagered claims against me. You are in violation of that because you failed to follow proper protocol and procedures or give me accurate information. And through my private investigations, I had to do years of research that make sure it was accurate, what was pretty much trained since birth through the military and many other sectors, to make sure you uphold your obligation and agreement and duty requirements. When you take any office or seat, or you take any authority position, whether it's city, state, local, federal law enforcement, CIA, FBI, ATF, sheriffs, marshals, you name it, military, Pentagon, and you violate it. So I'm calling you out on 574.24. You must affirm your oaths before you keep any of your positions as of 2018 and going into 2019. If I send you a proof of service, I don't want you here. It's out of my jurisdiction because that means you are out of a public job. You cannot control or administer any part of the public assets or securities known as trust, known as business, known as cash, known as estates, known as property, known as anything of the public if you fail to affirm your oaths. And by affirming your oath, that means affirmation of oath means you swear under 28 U.S.C. 453 to uphold your duty and requirements, fair, neutral, and unbiased to the rich and poor, and you fail to obligate the duty requirements that you took office in C2 for the public-private sector without any political motive or profitable motivation, selfish motives behind it, so help you God. That's affirming your oath and affirmation of oath. Then when you do that, you must proof of service every agency, whether it's even your own colleague who's in violation of affirmations of oath or duty requirements. If you're going to administer being law enforcement, or you're going to be administering being taking a public seat, whether it's judicial, executive, or legislative. You must affirm your oaths. And once you affirm it, you must, on the county recorder of deeds and also the Secretary of State, service all oath in office bonds swearing and notarizing that you will do 28 U.S.C. 453. So help you God. Fair and a neutral mediation. And no matter if it's a colleague, administer your duty. If not, don't take seat or office or authority acquirement. You must also provide all surety bonds, whether it's municipal, governmental, whether it's plebeian, whether it's so many different bond types of whatever field or office you're going into. You must assert a copy with that bond number in the amount to where the public can access it when you fail to do your job or you cause them harm. Then, under operating under UCC commerce, you are required to have professional liability insurance besides that surety bond job or duty requirement, which means as an agent or whatever, besides the surety bond from just that affirmation oath, that's just the oath in office bond. That's just the you a judge, you better have that surety bonds for that governmental agency you working for. The professional liability insurance, if you cause death, injury, liability, harm, defamation, to where you cost the other person, another person, their ability to barter or operate in commerce, you are responsible to have insurance, just like you got car insurance, just like you got renter's insurance. You are responsible, and under the Lawyers Mutual Fund that's in Minnesota off 333 South 7th Street, across the street from the Government Center, that's hosting majority you lawyers, judges, prosecutors who are all bar members in violation of the original 13th Amendment and also the Libra Code. You are required to have those professional liability insurance, plus to the ATOTA account, and also which is the Minnesota Lawyers Trust account, which I'm going to get back to you and make sure I put that total account number you owe me, the $42.7 billion part, which however much your insurance cover, you're going to be paying that portion, whether it's your surety bonds of any sort, governmental, municipal, whether it's your professional liability insurance, because you're supposed to have it just like car insurance or rent insurance, just like you force it on others when you're holding a public seat or you're administering authority of law or law enforcing of others to the public assets or securities. You're supposed to have that too when you cause harm. And you're supposed to affirm your oath with those bonds on the Secretary of State's registry and the recorder, county recorder and deeds of city, state, federal, local, anybody holding government, law enforcement seats of city, state, local, federal, judicial, executive, or legislative, city, state, local, federal, or any other sectors of the government, whether Attorney General, whoever. You're supposed to have your affirmation of oaths under 28 USC 453. When you affirm your oath of fair, mutual, unbiased, you don't care if it's a colleague that messed up, you will administer those duties. You must register those surety bonds to that government body or government agency or sector you're working with to make sure you be public and privately neutral and mediating, regardless if it's your own colleagues, and can't nobody bribe you or make you abuse your authority to not do your job requirements, because then that could be enforced to be paid out. And then your professional liability insurance is to cover any other harm of death or confinement or bodily harm or any other harm of even bartering and inability to operate a commerce of others. You're in violation of it. That's what your insurance for. That's why they make you have 3 to 4 when you're dealing with the public and private assets and securities of multiple corporations, whether city, state, federal, and local. And you must affirm that before you do any business or you stand down as of 2019. That is mandatory order. That is what I investigated, and I'm invoking, enforcing, and asserting it to every city, state, local, federal, international, and global sector that's in violation of their Libra Code, the original 13th Amendment, 28 USC 453, and also Minnesota Revised Statute 57424. If you wager that against somebody and you mess up, you better have those bonds and insurance in place. And I'm invoking y'all side of it because y'all owe me, city, state, local, federal, for all sectors of that $42.7 billion. And I can't start to seize, lien, levy, garnish, and consolidate, because this has been going on for a couple of years, this lawsuit. I did it through the State of Indiana Lake County Recorder of Deeds. On August 10th, 2017, I had to go there and register my free woman, free man affidavit for myself, Tamika Latoya Settles, and my heirs and heirs of generations of my son, my children, and family, to where no government, nobody can violate my supreme common law rights. I am free to domicile. I don't have to opt into your corporate fiduciary entity's jurisdiction, but I still have the ability to operate a commercial. You still got an ability to uphold your requirements of duties or stand down. And I asserted that August 10th, 2017, case number 2017 050148. That was with the county recorder of deeds. You could check archives. I registered my birth certificate. I registered my social security number. And I also registered my other identifying information, whether if I had a passport or any other things that trace back to medical records, school records, or anything that's connected to my kids. I registered myself as the sole proprietor, the beneficiary, the executor, the administrative, the grantor, whatever's necessary to handle my family's estate when y'all set all those birth certificates up in 1933 and 1934 when Theodore Roosevelt heisted all the people's gold, silver, and other jewels and rubies. I registered how you was selling the people slavery and taxes to pay off the debt through debt prison and tax slavery that you was paying off private and foreign investors known as the elite families, the Crown, the Vatican, and other investors and tycoons when after the Second War and that heist of gold and stuff happened. And then after that, y'all made debt off promissory notes known as the Federal Reserve Bank, FRNs, which says only legal debt, legal tender only, meaning you can't even get gold, diamond, silver. Y'all overinflated so it barely holds 8 cents to a dollar. That's how y'all screwed the people over. Not just with that, after you did that, those birth certificates and everything had Uc7 bond numbers to it. And it also had account numbers through the social security card. So if you had 2, 3 social security cards, trust me, somebody wagered it on the red numbers on the back. They registered and took out some type of bond money on your account through the Department of Treasury, through the Federal Reserve Bank that traces to the International Monetary Fund, the Banker International Settlements, the World Bank, and all the elite family banks of the Rothschilds, Bilderbergs, and all these elite families and how they got their wealth. From your first birth certificate you could ever remember being born has a Uc7 number that registered to a routing number. And then your social security number has a red number to it backwards, the account number. It's like the accounting log. It's like the mafia with the government. You know, your birth certificate Uc7 number is the routing number. Your back of your social security card is the account number. So every time they wager you, whether they say you got pulled over for a ticket and they tell you need a bond or you need to pay this ticket, they wagered your account, your estate. You're labeled as a corporation through that way. They used your slavery of labor, and they used your slavery to pay taxes through that labor as a debt prison to servitude to pay off their debts. You need to know your rights, but you wasn't supposed to go do what Heather Tucci and these other people did. It was the way you were supposed to do it, and I executed it the right way because I had to do the research and investigate, especially being a military family member, which I'm going to break down on where the harassment and more of where the $42.7 billion is owed to me. I just had to put out a cease and desist and a letter of intent to collect, seize, levy, consolidate, and, liquidate assets of the government, sectors of city, state, local, federal, international, global that owe me, because it starts here to end there. First, I need you to seal and nullify all my records effective immediately, or you will be arrested, and I will start seizing your pensions in your house. That is mandatory order. I am asserting, enforcing, revoking back the same laws you illegally enforced, but I follow better protocol than you. And now I'm here to step in where the other military who trained me since birth, who trained me in the other sectors that put me in position now to global reset y'all. Failures, dishonor, and the fact y'all hurt too many people. And I'm here enforcing it and inserting and invoking it on December 20, 2018, because 2019, none of y'all be in business if you fail not to affirm those oaths under 28 USC 453, and at the Secretary of State and the County Recorder and Deeds, you better have those municipal and governmental bonds in place when you take that duty and uphold those requirements, or it will be levied and waged against. And you better also have your professional liability insurance as a contractor doing that business, because if you cause harm, you illegally detain, you threaten or abuse your authority, or keep using that MK Ultra harassment technology that I'm telling you to stand down and cease and desist from, you will be subject to 18 USC 241, 242, which carry life and death penalties of even authority of law under the color of law, abusing their authority of law. And I'm invoking, enforcing, and invoking it and inserting it over and over again as many times as I need it for every sector, because that 57424 clearly states just because one sector does and one person of that sector does not preclude or exclude all the other parties of each sector. That means if it's 50 people in the state that owe me the same thing they violated because you all attacked me, 50 of you, I get to go after 50, however many times insurance bonds, professional liability insurance you have, or policy information, 50 times all surety bonds that you must carry as the position duties you're required to uphold and do and honor, and you don't, I get to come after 50 times and wherever I can find you in violation. And if it's not at the Secretary of State or at the county recording deeds to go levy or wager or collect on, you are in violation and you didn't affirm your oath, and you are in definite violation of 28 USC 453 and that 57424, the Libra Code violation, and also the original 13th Amendment. You're all on notice today. So now what I'm telling you today this for is because I'm ready to collect some money. You hurt me. I'm ready for my record to be sealed. I'm ready for the ability to barter and operate commercial travel, go after the other ones and clear up this effery you did to my life. And cease and desist from that technology of MK Ultra harassment that y'all doing to me. My hair falling out, the chips malfunctioning, and now I get to walk in with whoever I can find to assist me. Go to the sheriffs, the marshals, and all government sectors. If I hand you this paper, which is an affidavit, a universal affidavit for a subpoena request, a letter of intent, of asset and location of 42.7 billion, a cease and desist order, a stand down order, and order to press charges against all government sectors, city, state, federal, and local, who failed to not oblige to this affidavit that was signed by a bank, notarized by a bank. I exercise my supreme common law methods, which is also common law methods, which y'all also have that in the courts. But what you judges is abusing your authorities and doing colleague favors and failing to uphold your duty requirements. I don't care if it's your friend across the hall. If he gonna share oodles and noodles with you, is he gonna save you once he loses his house? He say, hey, do the same for me, and then you lose your house. What, you and they family gonna sleep in a hotel together and eat oodles and noodles together? No, they're gonna leave your butt stranded, and they're gonna see how many people they can get to take down with them. It's time for you grown-ups to stand up and affirm your oaths and hold your titles, and I'll be to you after this message. Fourth segment of UC7 private investigation. I'm trying to keep it in the 15-minute increments, but it might be a little shy or short. But this is me servicing on December 20th, 2018, all city, state, and local federal law enforcement sectors, judicial, executive, legislative sectors, and other public and private shareholders, investors, stockholders, tycoons, or owners, or any other donors, or whatever else they list themselves as, throughout these city, state, and local federal governmental bodies and public and private governmental bodies. As a letter, universal supreme common law letter that I had to do the supreme common law methods at the Lake County Recording Deeds, August 10th, 2017, at Darien, State of Indiana, Lake County Recording Deeds, case number 2017050148. You can check archives. I serve for my free woman status, me and my hairs, which you must stand down and stay away from, but you still have to operate in commercial. You still must do duty requirements regardless of whether we private sector or not. On top of that, I served on August 14, 2017 at the State of Indiana Lake County Recorder and Deeds. You can check archives, case number 2017050781. I served a lawsuit affidavit for $42.7 billion to the Washington, D.C.'s Department of Treasury, Uranus Plurus, or however you say their name. I serviced the Pentagon. I serviced the Department of Treasury, the Federal Reserve, And I put a list to assure all other city, state, local, and federal government sectors, whether public and private, their donor, their investors, their shareholders, their stockholders. I also service the Queen, the Vatican, the 13 elite families, and all the other donors, investors, stockholders, shareholders that are connected to these governmental bodies, whether it's public or private, throughout Earth's planet, continent of all governments, whether it's in China, Beijing, Korea, whether it's in Russia, whether it's in Europe, wherever you at, I service all city, state, local, federal, international, global sectors that is in violation of the Libra Code, that is in violation of the original 13th Amendment, that is in violation of the Constitution and the Magna Carta, that is in violation of Supreme, and they also call it just common law methods, which connects to the Magna Carta and the Constitution. I also invoked and asserted with many other sides of the common law with that, of making sure they understand they're in violation of that original 13th Amendment, Magna Carta, the Constitution, and other due process violations that of rights that I am in private sector, free woman, free man, and my children and heirs are in private sector, free woman, and free man through those county, state of Indiana, Lake County Recorder and Deeds that are final, that is archived, that has went uncontested, unrebutted over so long period of time, because no one of you never affirmed your oaths under 28 USC 453 or any other names you call it throughout your country's chapter. Which once you affirm it, you must register through the Secretary of State and the County Recorder and Deeds with your municipal bond, governmental bond that you hold in seat, holding offices, or you finna be an authority, a figure ministering, resting people, or servicing people through proof of service if they violate the law or they owe somebody some money or you need to seize a property or assets. You, as an officer, whether city, state, federal, local, police officer, FBI, CIA, marshals, or any other party, Pentagon, military, you must affirm your oath, also have your surety bonds, governmental bond, law enforcement bond, peace officer bond, whatever it is, registered at the Secretary of State and a county recorder of deeds with their policy numbers and bond numbers in case you violate 574.24, the revised statute. Anybody who wagers a claim or administering law, you must have that for somebody to collect on claims that you enforce on the public. The public and private has a right to enforce it back, and I invoke it, enforce it, and assert it in a stanza form passed through the newspaper and the county recorder of deeds. You can go check 2017 050-148-2017, 050-781 at the State of Indiana, Lake County Recording and Deeds. Also, you could go check the Northwest Indiana Times newspaper, which aired August 18th, August 25th, and September 1st, 3 consecutive week of Gary, Indiana requirements. 2017, which went uncontested, unrefuted, and unrebutted, and it stands as truth to fact in any common law or supreme common law court or any other court, because y'all have to opt to those same requirements. And then when I came back to Minnesota, I registered for September, but they start hacking with that Stingray, so it aired through McFarland News Media in Minnesota, October 2nd and October 9th of 2018, which you can check archives of executive notice and an affidavit claim of $42.7 billion that went uncontested, unrefuted, and unrebutted. And you can check archives. It says truth and fact, and can't nobody do nothing but pay up, because I asserted all the facts. And then since the 4th Judicial District Government Center, County Recorder in Deeds, or County Recorder of Abstract, that supervisor at the Skyway level had 8 sheriffs, or around 4 to 8 sheriffs surround me when I tried to serve that affidavit, the same affidavit that I did in Indiana that I just gave you the information to, which will be into my link. They threatened me with arrest. They threw me out the building and they failed to record it. That still does not opt my claim invalid. So what I did right after that is I went across the street to the federal, because that is a constitutional right tort violation and a due process right violation when the state public, supposed to be staying in the union, but you're in violation because you're labeled as city, state, local, federal, corporate fiduciary entities, which is not for the people, and you should not be controlling our assets. And if you do, you better firm the most. But anyways, I had to go across the street to the federal district court filing of civil filing. and it's across the street from the old City Hall building in downtown Minneapolis. And on August 30th, 2017, I registered civil filing case number 17 CV 4066, which put all the publisher claims, all those newspaper clippings, all those state of Indiana, Lake County recording deeds, free woman status and free man status, and that $42.7 billion lawsuit affidavit on public court record dockets, which stand as a public notice announcement when your due process and your constitutional right towards it being violated. And it stands affirmed because no one contested it. What you did what did y'all do? Basically, you try to mess with me with a bogus informer paupers violation, which that does not stand down. You didn't understand how I had to do it. I learned how to beat through y'all abusing your authority. That's why y'all owe me money too. And I'm going to tell you. So for 17 CV 4066 acts as a public recording docket announcement. And you can't stop that on August 30th, 2017 at the Federal Civil Courthouse across the street from the City Hall. Then I turned around and registered, since they try to hack me, and McFarland Media, North Minneapolis newspaper, couldn't air me in September. They aired it on October 2nd and October 9th, 2017, which you could check archives with Al McFarland. And he could tell you he was being hacked by Stingray and stuff was happening to their system. So that was the government boosting their authority, which just because they hack and slow stuff down does not make anything invalid. It was public announcement. It was done through common law methods. It stands affirmed through the common law method, the supreme common law method, the universal common law method, through your corporate, city, state, federal, local fiduciary doing business as businesses, because you're handling public assets and private assets and securities, and you're hosting and holding the state of the birth certificate Uc7 numbers and the social security account numbers against the public and private sectors, and you're collecting illegal pensions, illegal gains, illegal profits, and you're arresting them, and you're ruining and tarnishing anybody's ability to operate and commerce, violation of Minnesota Advisor Statute 57424. Because anybody who wagered that claim must be able to have securities to back, especially holding the public seat or administering authority to arrest people, or put a record on their BCA and their ability to operate in commercial, ruin their credit, ruin them to get housing, ruin them to get a job, ruin them to travel, ruin them to get a passport, ruin them to do anything. Because by your common law methods, you don't need a passport, be honest with you. You just need to know it's you. By your common law methods, you don't need no no ID or driver's license. It's your natural born right to work, drive amongst the lands, the local city lands, and they try to say you have to be near the country to get that out of their grid point, which is not true. Basically, if you're handling freight and you're handling other people's goods business-wise, bartering in business, it is highly recommend you with the Class A CDL and Class B. It's the reason why I would recommend you make sure you have surety bonds, and you make sure you get those licenses and the proper training, because you're dealing with hazmat, you're dealing with people's goods and property, and it's always good because insurance those companies that employ you, they have insurance for you. And then as your private contractor, if you're an independent contractor, a nice surety bond to cover you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with people's property, and you always want to have insurance. Just like some people say, I don't care for car insurance. Well, guess what happened? If someone hits you and you don't have insurance, or they don't have insurance, well, how are you going to get another car? That's what it's for, liability. And some of the insurance companies scam you, so know your rights when you're dealing with these insurance vendors too. Because I'm calling y'all out for frauding me from the housing, renter's insurance, and from the car insurance. All you city, state, and local insurance companies are in violation because you abused your authorities doing colleague favors for these other city, state, local, and federal government sectors getting kickbacks. You ruined me so bad, and I followed every rule y'all claimed was supposed to be. Well, you say just do as we say, until I had to investigate. Say, hold up, you ain't even following it. Hold up, You even did it wrong. Hold up, you ruined me, and I'm following what you told me to do. I'm hurt by this. So I had to investigate, become a private investigator now, enforce it, invoke it, and inserting it on all sectors, city, state, local, federal, international, and global. And you must affirm and pay. And that is the requirement. And you cannot contest. And there's, due to the conflict of interest, a majority of you city, state, local, federal getting paid through the same employee identification number and tax identification number through payroll, and there's a conflict of interest of our Sixth Amendment right, which you violated mine, because Jill Clark was my attorney. She was running for a judicial Chief Justice seat of the Minnesota Supreme Court against Lori Gilday. As a client of hers, you politically attacked me and her, MK'd us, slandered our backgrounds, our records, and our names, and our ability to operate in barter commerce, and y'all in violation. So I'm invoking it for me. Jill Clark gonna have to do hers. Thank you, Jill Clark, for being a client, a good public defender, or I mean, should I say a lawyer to me, or a bar member. But they ruined you, and they ruined me when they was attacking you, but they was ruined you was helping me because I was owed lawsuits before that. I want to thank you. So whenever you need a witness for that, or them attacking you for you running for Chief Justice seat, I will be your witness, because I am the client, one of the clients, along as other legal rights and other cops and lawyers and doctors that are whistleblowers who got attacked too. I'll be your witness. And from to case number 14, CR 368, when all those federal judges and the state Supreme Court Justice Lori Gilday and all them justices recused themselves from the cases because they know they attacked you. They know they set you up from when you was running from chief seat against Lori Gilday. I'm your witness. And when you need me to help your part of certain things that I'm a witness to, I got you. Now I need you as an expert witness, as a member who know you got politically attacked just like me. I'm summoning you to this Channel 16 Government Access Channel to be my expert witness as I start, because we don't need to we don't have to opt in their corporate courts. Those courts will get tore down. They will be relieved from seat. They will be arrested. And if the next sheriff doesn't opt, when we order proofs of service, either affirm or stand down and get out, they must relieve themselves, and they must lose their pension jobs and have surety bonds waged against them. So how many city, state, local, federal law enforcement of y'all, federal, international, global, want to lose y'all positions for y'all colleague? This is serious now. You better affirm them oaths. It better be up at the county recorder and deeds. It better be up at the Secretary of State, whether it's judicial, executive, legislative, or any law enforcement sector, city, state, local, federal, international, global. I'm enforcing, invoking, and inserting it. And that's because I'm private sector on common law side doesn't mean that I can't use those buildings. That means you in violation. Either you put the people that's supposed to do their jobs in here, or you stand down, and however it needs to be. And now I need my lawsuit of $42.7 billion. This is me finna take a break, and I'm finna do the last segment, and I'll be back after this message. Uc7 private investigations. You can reach and check out my contact, the information to what I went over on this public service announcement legal notice through the links below of this page through at the Minneapolis Telecommunication Network station, which is the public service announcement legal notice, and a way for you to get through the public through television avenues your information, same as I did do the newspaper requirements and also the Lake County recording deeds. Since Minnesota's in violation of letting me file what I need at their county recording deeds, I'm going to opt to open up a new common law county recording deeds, Secretary of State, and bringing it back to the people and the public-private. So a lot of these officers and the ones that do affirm their oath don't have to feel threatened. You don't have to risk your job, your reputation, and your family security because of other colleagues mess up doing business as their corporate side of business that's finna get everybody locked up and killed pretty much at the rate they're going. So since they didn't oblige, let them go down. That's why I'm servicing them. When I come to you with the proper protocols and procedures and proof of service paperwork, you must affirm, you must show your surety bond, your professional liability insurance. It must be registered at the Secretary of State and the county recorder of deeds. And if the corporate side of the city, state, local ones that label themselves as that fail to let you do that, then we will start one after this chapter. Just keep it in some type of folder, and I will show you the method that should be done, and we will open up the new chapters back to the common law people, because This is ridiculous. They did corporate suicide to all these organizations, and they can't heist and hurt and manipulate, false imprison, and do any more debt of their paying of their debt to the people no more. Whether you're a cop, whether you're law enforcement, whether you're judicial, executive, legislative, this is the global reset. This is the economic reset that was needed, and I'm here enforcing it from a baby girl of the military who's trained very well, and someone who went to Learning Shop USA through the BCA requirements for private investigation as expert private investigator, and someone who took years of research to confirm facts to be able to be confidently assert it, recite it, and make sure you could cross-reference to everything that I listed here today and said through this public service announcement and legal notice, so you know that this stands affirmed in the truth of every court of law, especially common law and supreme common law through every city, state, local, federal, even a corporate courts doing business as corporate courts. It still stands affirmed. They can't stop it if they wanted to. It went uncontested, unrefuted, unrebutted, and I'm holding them accountable. So here's the bank notarized letter, universal supreme common law affidavit. Stands as a subpoena. It stands as a letter of intent to locate the assets and securities of all you government, corporate government, or however you claim yourselves that's in violation assets that you may have. And if you don't, I can start garnishing your paychecks or whatever. Seize, lien, garnish, levy, consolidate, whatever's necessary, because you guys hurt me so bad. I have to. I have a family. I care about mine. I even try to care about yours. Instead of y'all building with me, y'all kept attacking me. So now I'm holding y'all accountable and invoking, enforcing, and asserting my rights the same way, but I'm doing it better than you. And I'm doing it to where I wish you would build with me now, the ones that have a chance to not go down with the rest of them. And hurry up and get your surety bonds, municipal bonds, government bonds in order now before you even come near me or talk to me or even step in another government building, whether it's corporate or not, until we can get the common laws ones back open or opened up. And then, or keep them on you and your professional liability insurance, because you're dealing with public and private assets, and regardless if a person is common law, private, or doing business through your corporate until they register or can register their names to opt out, you must still honor the same requirements through these statutes, codes, regulations, rules, ordinances, and any other laws that's necessary that you're going to enforce. You got to be able to uphold and honor. And I'm holding you to that, or you will be in dishonor, and you will be impeached, thrown out of office and seats, and your position stripped from your badge, robe, and mallet, and you will be labeled as criminal every time you walk with that fake badge after you in dishonor and force arrest, force shoot, and force your corporate laws on somebody who followed the rules to make sure they can opt out. And the fact that you're illegally doing it and acting as a criminal, you can be held liable with criminal charges. Your property can be levied upon, and people could find another way to open up a new law enforcement agency as a citizen's arrest that will honor the legal code and make sure you don't violate it, and make sure that original 13th Amendment don't get violated no more, because it was ratified before the Second War. So now all you people are put up on notice. You can check out this link for flow. This is my service ticket to start collecting money. This stands affirmed. You can read it on the link below. Here's the bank and judge signature. So all I got to do is find a bank with a Z medallion or a certain letter medallion stamp that can back the account that I got set up to be able to go to the Department of Treasury and Federal Reserve and start getting certain part of their Federal Reserve notes, because it's debt on debt. It's only a whole 8 cents. So I don't want pretty much any of my 42 billion assets to collect from that. But I would take enough to get some ways to start locating the gold, diamonds, silvers, rubies, jewels, the stuff you heisted in 1933 and 94, which is what I want when after this global reset, because ain't no other banks or governments want to borrow. The pesos don't even hold money. The other currency throughout the other countries, y'all currency to those federal notes like monopoly money. Y'all overinflated it. We want the gold, diamond, silvers reset. At least I do. I got to do my chapter first. The ones of all you whistleblowers that I've been trying to get y'all to stand up with me, y'all didn't as hard as I needed y'all to. This is me servicing my lawsuit. This is what I'm owed. And as a private investigator, I'm going to be a neutral special counsel for the common law side. And God, we trust that's coming back to the common law, unalienable birthright side that I opt jurisdiction for and enforce jurisdiction for. And from the judicial, executive, legislative, and the law enforcement, city, state, local, federal, international, and global, that I opt jurisdiction for, to being a neutral mediator and overseeing all sectors follow their part to bringing it back to the common law. We the people, Magna Carta, constitutional rights of the people that's opting out of these corporate doing business as that pretty much ran the earth planet to ruin, killed so many people, ruined so many lives through these debt prisons and these legal things. But then you thought you was lawless and you couldn't be charged, or because you did a favor for a favor, colleague favor, because you worked for this, or you was this cop or this or that, you was going to abuse your authority. No, it was a time where this was finna go blazing to hell. He's doing business as city, state, local, federal, governmental body sectors, and international and global governmental body sectors. I enforce all my rights. I am a private sector, common law private sector, but also supreme and universal common law private sector. I am like the special counsel, a Robert Mueller of the common law era, coming here as Pat 2018 and so forth, because I started and opted and had to make sure I crossed both T's, dotted I's, and insert everything in position through those state of Indiana, Lake County Recorder and Deeds. Even though it was a corporate, I still put it through there. They let me do it because it was my birth taking sole proprietorship of all my identification, and it'll give me ability to undo the damage that they sold me out through the Federal Reserve Bank, Department of Treasury, IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, Bank of International Settlements known as BIS, the World Bank, and all the other elite families. I have no beef with y'all elite families. I understand y'all operate like the mafia, same as the gods and goddesses of the planets, universes, constellation, and galaxies. And that's the baby girl jurisdiction you got me under. I operate under the gods and goddesses, queens and kings, which is QMB, GMB jurisdiction. And I'm their special counsel and neutral mediator of all planets, universes, constellation, galaxies. When y'all did that Illuminati elite families, no, you channel gods, you aliens, extraterrestrial, no, you channeling gods when you're doing those rituals and black magic and all that stuff. Well, you got the baby girl here of the galaxies. And I'm a goddess in training, baby. And I'm here to assert my common law, unalienable birthrights, universal supreme planet, universe, constellation, galaxies, common law, supreme common law, universe, common law rights that I enforce, assert, and invoke, and shall not be infringed. So, whenever y'all ready, this is my public service announcement. This will be served to the 4th Judicial District Government Center. Stand down, cease and desist, and no more false imprisonments, or you will be arrested. And any servicing agent that I contact, please think long and hard before you make that decision, because failure to oblige and have that information ready, if they won't let you go register it at the state of Minnesota and the county recording deeds, your surety bonds and your professional liability insurance will be wagered against. And you will also be subject to criminal charges according to this, because I did what the elders of the military needed me to do, what the elders of all sectors that was tired of all administrations that stole every asset of all throughout the earth's planet and messed it up to reset it. And I want the gold, diamonds, and silver and securities. I'll just take a few promissory notes, just a few, just to get me started. And I want all my records nullified, sealed and nullified, meaning I don't even want to have a trace of me existing, even a fingerprint through the dang on jail and your debt prisons, because that's where yours will be next. Any judge, any law enforcement agency failed to fully wipe every part of my DNA and print out those jail, prison, debt prison data banks. Failed to remove all credit, housing, criminal, probate records from all you doing business as city, state, local, federal, international, and global government, corporate, fiduciary, government entities, locations. Seal, not just seal and cover up, I mean seal and nullify, even through the BCA, international and global. I mean every last one of them, housing, you name it. Failure to do that you will be charges put against you because you are in violation of the Libra Code. You are in violation of the original 13th Amendment. You are in violation of Minnesota Revised Statute 57424. You are in violation of 28 USC 453, failure to affirm your oaths with those surety bonds of municipal and judicial or governmental bonds required that you enforce on us. You are required to have. And also, you are required to have professional liability insurance, especially operating in UCC commerce, because you're dealing with public and private trust and accounts and estates and their bodies. In case you cause injury and harm, you wager the collateral, you must provide the solution and the payment when you mess up. That's the mafia business through government, street, universe, constellation, galaxy, amongst the planets, baby. Don't play government business trying to play mafia if you can't back it. But this time, this is common law of public and private, I'm certain, invoking and enforcing. And this is the QMB, which is Queen Mafia Bosses, and GMB, which is goddesses and God Mafia Bosses. Baby girl jurisdiction being enforced today. And you can't stop it. It went uncontested, unrefuted, unrebutted. And I hit you with every law better than you ever illegally enforced on us. And I'm holding you accountable because I made sure every T was crossed and I was dotted, and making sure you will have charges pressed against you just because you claiming that your badges ain't safe, your robes ain't safe, your mallets ain't safe, your positions ain't safe, your pensions, your houses, because I'm also invoking Donald Trump's December 17, 2017 executive order and everything you can find throughout my affidavits connected to 17 CV 4066 can be verified and affirmed, because I'm affirming it and I already checked out the facts. Everything to every affidavit through the state of Indiana County Recorder Deeds can be verified. The case numbers going to be links to be below. Every executive notice and lawsuit for $42.7 billion that's through the Northwest Indiana Times and the McFarland News Media in Minnesota can be affirmed, and you can check through archives. And on Channel 16, Government Access Channel through Minneapolis Telecommunication Network, Public Access Channel 16. All this with links and information can be verified. Keep in mind, I am in training. This is me starting to collect my money and proof of service. I will be registered mailing this, and I will be coming with this. And when I come with my crew to force payment, if those who don't comply, goodbye. You will be removed receipt, your badge, robes, and mallets. Your assets will be seized under Executive Order December 21st, 2017, and you're in violation of technology harassment, which is weapons of mass destruction and also illegal experimentation and research, and you will be subject to immediate criminal, and under 18 USC 241 and 242, you are subject to a life and death penalty under the color of law, abusing your authority of law, and I'm enforcing it. Violation of 42 USC 1983 of the letter intent of assets. You owe me a $42.7 billion. And also Minnesota Revisor Statute 57424, which you raise the security and you cause the harm, you must have the security. All surety bonds, municipal, governmental, plebeian bonds, and even your professional liability insurance for wherever sector you operate in commerce, policy information. Better be at the Secretary of State, the County Recorder and Deeds, and you better hand a copy to me, because this is standing affirmed on National Government Access Public TV. This is the final step, and I just checkmated what I needed. And now you will understand the rest of the harassment of why the $42.7 billion is owed to me, and why the elders wanted the QMB, GMB, and all the elders want me to do a global reset and get rid of these fake promissory notes that only hold 8 cents on a dollar, and find the gold, diamonds, silvers, and assets that all past, present, and currently future administration is holding. But the future, I'm hoping he understand that money he found and that gold is mine, part of it, enough to cover the claims. The rest of it, don't make sure the old administration get it because it was stolen assets. This is a message from the elders. Trump, Stephen Mnuchin, Donald Trump, Putin, Kim Jong-un, President Tao Yu, Queen Elizabeth, Rothschilds, and Vatican. This is me sending this to y'all. They MK Ultra me. I am that 1980 December 7th, 1980, Illuminati rape baby of the cosmic collision boom. I have kind of like the MIB, that planet that was on that catch keychain, some type of every DNA genetic code planet domiciled in me. I am that goddess that y'all summoned from the galaxies years ago with that Illuminati rape under astronomical dates. Not just that, I was trained from all the elders of the military and sectors that was waiting for this to be globally reset to be compensated on. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm done my prior investigation, and I just served all those sectors that is in violation with their notice. City, state, local, federal, international, and global of throughout Earth's planet that nobody cannot do without upholding. It stands affirmed. This is Tamika with UC7 Private Investigations signing out. More of my UC7 Private Investigations public announcement and public broadcasting. Now, normally I do it in segments, but it's a lot to cover, so I use movies as reference, so then you can draw a picture. I'm a visualist and a person that talks, so some people need to see it, and some people need to hear it, and some people need both to comprehend, to reference to. Well, that's what my UC7 Private Investigations training is about, and also it's me doing this recording myself. I'm learning where I can improve as I'm going to be stepping into the television production industry to make sure my segments are more on point. I'm hoping I'm making it where even though I have it chronologically noted, I have to stop the reference to movies so then you can understand and draw a picture of the seriousness of these illegal, prohibited medical research and experimentation they've been conducting on humans without consent, and weapons of mass destruction that links to this experimentation. Now, my main concern is back to where I was going with the murder of my grandparents that happened at 821 Virginia Street, Gary, Indiana, 46402, February of 2002, 2 months after my 21st birthday. You know what they were looking for, who murdered them? They were looking for that old MK Ultra software, data bank, and technology. It was like some certain things that linked to these old microchips that started malfunctioning that made my grandfather and other colleagues of the military, even a few swastika Nazi researchers, stop it, deactivate it, and also throw a program into glitch and catch the other ones because they didn't know who all was involved. So it made it to where it glitched because the way they did it was due to the fact I was raped from the Illuminati on that astronomical moon date or a certain calendar date that made, if you were in the Illuminati and you heard about some type of magical orgasm that some kid had gave out, I'm that baby they raped. If you from the Illuminati and you heard about some type of fear or adrenaline in the rush, all the people that some of them either morphed through reptilians, how some of the elite families gained some of their species capabilities in the first place, because when those aliens and extraterrestrials domiciled on Earth, because they did it when some was domiciled here coming from the Atlantis because they was already water creatures near the earth core in the lake and rivers and seas. Some of them domiciled here when they put those satellites up from the ones that was already in Atlantis that Putin was talking about coming up, and the technology they traded with the humans because they needed the humans because of the way they looked to come up and set up the technology. Then you heard about the Anunnaki and the Nephilims, and then you remember all those archaeological finds. All this stuff plays a role into what's going on today. Then you got the ones that came from either Saturn, Pluto, or Mars, the closest planets, when they set those satellites up, UK, Antarctica, Russia, America, Europe, all of them. Those satellites go past the Earth core, which that's how you got the internet. That's how you got all these HD channels and all this other telecommunication that went wireless. The aliens and extraterrestrials that domiciled here. Remember all those Area 51 sightings where they're saying, I seen the UFO, I seen these flashing lights. No, that ain't no spacecraft. No, something ain't right. They made that confidential classified because when they send up those satellites, everything in life operates on vibrations, sounds, frequencies, mathematics, symbols, hieroglyphics, and other forms of fashion. They contacted those species, and those species domicile here. When they came through, because they wasn't used to that type of spaceship, they shot them down and killed some of those extraterrestrials and species and aliens and covered it up, calling it the Roswell Project and all these other things. Area 51 go near 21 floors below, near the sea level, to the Earth's core, that knew of these other species. Remember that movie Men in Black with Will Smith? Remember all those species? How did you think those species came about? Some of them are similarities or mimics or clones or a soft version trying to make the movie funny to prepare y'all for the other alien and extraterrestrial species like that been in the Earth core from Atlantis, and the ones they domiciled here after they did set up those satellites and crashed, and they took their technology, either they mimicked it, cloned it, copied it, or they used it on humans without fully understanding how to do it. This was the CIA, FBI, military, Pentagon, DARPA, NASA, SETI, DEF CON, and Verichip, Trovan, Digital Angel, these other high-tech tycoon companies, the investors, shareholders, stockholders, they all have ties in some type of shares or stocks or some type of investment or donor in these type of projects. Well, I'm giving you the movies to reference to. Remember Men in Black. Remember the one Men in Black where that black girl, Will Smith was with that black girl, and she was something important to the space and the earth. Remember that cat that had the earth on its leash? Whatever they did when they raped me on that technology and the things they did, that movie Men in Black referenced to me. The technology, that Area 51 technology they put in me, that government grade pyramid finding, that, remember the movie Scorpion King as well with Billy Zane? I have a license found by him, and I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. Remember how he morphed into a half scorpion and half human? That was pyramid finding technology. They opened that technology and activated it through me. I am one of the Hollywood Illuminati rape babies that they used me, never paid me, just kept zapping me with EMP, electromagnetic pulse technology, some type of surgery, whether it's this stage car assault, a cesarean from a birth, this crucifixion implant near my heart that looked like a octopus, this one right here malfunctioned in the back of my neck, which is also called crucifixion implant because it's near your spine and it connects to another part of your optical and auditory cortex of your brain. And this one right here that connects near my voice box, you can see it. You see it? I'm going to show you later. These microchips, the University of Indiana researchers and University of Minnesota, all the other ones that either went to the university, did these research projects, was given research grants and everything, all of them engaged without paying, without consent, knowing that they were malfunctioning because everybody was getting so much money to keep it going. They didn't care about my life. They didn't care about my health. They didn't care about anything. And due to the fact that I'm a mother and grandmother, they kept and put it in my kids through their dental surgery. My son has metal caps, so they try to activate him. When he was born, his father, which he's from Europe, I think they put something through his umbilical cord, some chips and some other stuff like they did me. So all my kids got illegally microchip of some sort and some type of nanobots, nanotechnology, smart dust or microchip, and was administered through their umbilical cords when they was a baby. Same as they did me when they raped me after birth and linked me to some of these alien extraterrestrial species technologies, and it started malfunctioning. I'm giving you movies to reference to because you can understand the seriousness of this. And that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to stop this here, but I'm going to go back over a few more details. The reason why is I have to service a lot of people today. One of them is the state of Minnesota 4th Judicial District Court Government Center. I'm servicing Judge William Cook, Judge Carrie Meyer, Judge Caroline Anonymous, Judge Anthony Schumacher, referee Anthony Schumacher, shall I say prosecutor, Judge Paul Scoggin, Bradley Reed Johnson, Peter Johnson, Tamara Garcia, and Karen Janis of a fake complaint that was amended, that was not signed by her. Her clerk Neil confirmed it to, shall I say, defamation of slander, police for a profit, needed to finish this research project off me, criminal case number that hindered my ability to operate and commerce, case number 27CR14-11243. Again, 27CR10-11243. And St. Paul Second Judicial District Court, 62CR10-1465, connected to Judge Gail Bohr and Jennifer Frisch, which was prosecuted by only a judge signature. These were politically motivated, and this had to do with the recent projects that I'm talking to you about, because they engaged in it to gain their side of the Minnesota's Illuminati. I'm going to come back to you after this message, and then now I'm going to get to the second series. 3 of UC7 Private Investigation, Public Service Announcement, and Legal Notice. This is Tamika Suttles with UC7 Private Investigation. Today is December 20, 2018. I'm here at the Minneapolis Telecommunication Network. If you need to call me or contact me, my number is 763-951-9882, and it will be at the bottom of the broadcast that's coming out shortly. Now, back to what I was saying. Those military family members and the military members were all researched on. The old CIA and FBI MK Ultra project stemmed from old bulky microchips. Now, you remember that movie, remember that movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Remember when he sent the future picture of himself taking out the microchip out his nose, but it was a GPS tracker? Those are the old microchips. Trovan, Verichip, Homeland Security, and other people was injecting to a lot of the people who got like what I call them, they call it immigration, but a lot of the people that's come from the other countries, they injected them through them. So if you got like some old bulky, bally looking thing, that's one of the older ones. But then they start filling them with silicone and start making them smaller, but they still look like little small airplane disc or half of aspirin or something cut in half, but bigger, circular. Those some of the models that they put in me, and it was through Trovan, Verichip, Digital Angel. Every time there was a lawsuit, there was even other names, because UK had some microchip versions. Australia has some microchip versions. Antarctica had, where the Nazis are currently domiciled at, with the data bank of all the biogenetic gene codes of human species, aliens, and the original organic seeds of harvesting and herbal and foods. That's where it's located at right now. There's their database, they're stationed in Antarctica. Antarctica's melting because they're doing those frackings of oil and trying to build more locations of the Nazis who, after America, asylum here and helped the CIA and FBI do their MK Ultra project, they hurried up and moved to Antarctica and start working with Russia, Ukraine. I don't know if Putin know a lot of it, but a lot of the Ukraine government is involved with the Nazis in the Antarctica setup of the government there. And that's why the poles is shifting, because with the fracking they're doing to drill oil, which is pretty much the Earth's blood, because that's what activates all your technology. They're draining it and it's heating up over there. So all those ice glaciers melting, which is causing a lot of those tsunamis through Japan and Korea and everybody else. But not just even with that, it's tilting the Earth, because imagine Antarctica fracking and draining mama blood. So that's just like you going to the blood bank, someone taking, you giving plasma to help somebody, or you giving blood, like a donating blood, and at least they put saline back in you once, they take your plasma, because your plasma can regenerate again, and your blood, without it, your blood can't coagulate, which means it dries up just like when you die. Well, imagine what they're doing on Earth. So you got Antarctica fracking and draining the blood, like a blood plasma of Earth from a human. That's like not putting saline back in your body after you donate plasma to help somebody. That's what's happening to Earth. And then you got China doing their part. You got North Korea doing their part. And then you got UK doing their part. Europe doing their part. Everybody's draining Mama Earth core dry of her blood, which is the oil. And no one's putting no saline back in her for her oil to regenerate or rejuvenate itself. It's just like when you go die, someone drain your blood out your body. You know what I'm saying? They drain you when you dead to do the autopsy. That's what they're doing to Earth. They're pretty much doing an autopsy, draining of her blood without putting water or saline for the Earth to replenish itself. The Earth core is drying up. That's why you got the volcanoes. That's why you got the water disappearing. That's why you got all these lava and everything coming out, the streets cracking, these levitational pools of people flying and floating and levitating the cars because of the gravity in certain parts of the globe that was unexplainable. Basically, Earth's body is tired. Every species of alien extraterrestrial that domicile here, especially humans, have drained Earth dry. And that's the problem. Every project y'all worked on has malfunctioned. The reason why I'm letting you know this because my name is Tamika Suttles. The murder of my grandparents that happened at 821 Virginia Street, Gary, Indiana, 46402 that went unresolved and and not all people have been arrested or anybody or it's been prosecuted. The people who did it are up here. Some of the people in the Nazi help, some of them was bad with the MK Ultra project that they injected in me when I was a baby. I was born December 7th, 1980, Gary, Indiana, at Methodist Hospital on 600 Grant Street. I was born around 8:23 p.m. If you look at the astronomical date calendars and you look at all the moon dates and how most people do those rituals and channeling and summoning of gods, the species, the aliens, the extraterrestrial Illuminati, when they was doing those robe rituals underneath those tunnels, naked, doing orgies and raping of children, young children, women, boys and girls, and then some of them died and some of them they raped on technology trying to offer them as a sacrifice to gain some type of immortality or some type of species morphine like reptilian morphine or to try to be some type of immortal god or some sort of gain some power. They was raping people. That was MK Ultra, CIA, FBI, Illuminati type ritual procedures. I was born on an astronomical calendar in the early 80s of December 7, 1980. That was my birthday, 8:23 p.m. There was some type of astronomical moon month. That whole month was full of astronomical dates and January. Whatever happened, it was some type of weather storm, cosmic collision. Through NASA, you could Google 1980 cosmic collision and you will Google it up. But Aaron Evans and some other people covered that article. I am that great baby that channeled and activated y'all machines and y'all did and got all y'all MK older projects working. And I am the baby of that orgy or orgasm or adrenaline and fear that activated y'all machines because that's what y'all use through those body microchipping. Y'all with the mind control you was trying to gain. It's the stealing of the adrenaline. It's distilling and making fear. So the fear brings the adrenaline, and it's and also the orgasms you feel for raping the youth. That youth fears. It's some type of aphrodisiac or some type of barbiturate through the body itself. Plus with the drugs taken, they were doing when they was doing those robe rituals, naked underneath, having orgies. A lot of politicians, doctors, scientists, they all went to the University of Indiana, Minnesota, California, Washington. They were all fraternity members, like some type of Psi Alpha, Alpha Phi, Skull and Bones. All these politicians, somebody went to school with somebody or somebody family grew up somehow with some type of political connection that traces to the elite families such as the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, and all the 13 elite families that Queen Elizabeth and the ones that pretty much they claim own the whole continent's wealth that USA took out a loan after the Second World War and sold our birth certificates and social security cards as slavery and servitude for us paying the taxes. We're paying off their debt. And this is what brings me to what I'm telling you. I am that Illuminati rape baby. I am that baby that whoever, all you politicians that rape me and rape me on that technology in that basement with those other extraterrestrial aliens and species with that Area 51 technology and that Scorpion King pyramid finding technology. I am that baby that activated all of them. All those microchips from Trovan, Verichip, and Digital Angel, and it was called other names throughout the states and throughout the continent. I am that baby that DNA, biogenetics, gene code activated all y'all programs, softwares, data banks, technology, computers, laptops, you name it. And it was done without consent. And my grandfather was in the military, found out and tried to stop that. You know anybody else besides the Evans, the military, few FBI, few CIA, a few military as far as Pentagon and with throughout these research projects that was going to the University of Indiana and the University of Minnesota, California, and Washington and other colleges that was engaging into these MK Ultra projects, contact me. I will need you as an expert witness, and there's a lawsuit that you will be compensated for your troubles and time. If you have any information to back these findings, please contact me as soon as possible. I'm going to take a commercial break and I'm going to finish with these details. Thank you, and you gotta excuse me. I have been hacked. So 7 private investigations. Today is December 20, 2018. This is the second part of my public service announcement and legal notice that's here airing at the Minneapolis Telecommunication Studios, known as MTN in Northeast Minneapolis. But part 2 contained to me breaking down the illegal experimentation and research they was doing into the humans and military members and their families. Remember the Tuskegee trials, what I just briefly introduced about the LSD and the testing of other diseases they were putting through the black soldiers and other colorful soldiers that they used as disposable muscle, basically. And a lot of those families didn't get paid. In the 50s and the 70s, after they gave asylum to the Nazi Germany researchers, CIA and FBI had started up after the Bureau of Investigation. The FBI used to be the Bureau of Investigation. They keep changing their name throughout government administrations through the Reagan, the Kennedy, the Reagan, or the Reagan and Kennedy, I forgot which order. Then it's the Clinton, the Bush, the Clinton, and then the Obama era. And now this is the Trump era. And Trump got the last of the whoop-de-wang, everything hitting the fan, and all the governments are shutting down for all the stuff they did and due to all the administration changes and due to the fact that shareholders, the stockholders, the donors, and investors are all the same administration. So when it was the Bureau of Investigation, you know why Kennedy and Reagan and Bush did ever get charged with any crimes? Because they were shareholders. They the one who opened it up. They were doing business as the Bureau of Investigation. It was never the real government, the State of the Union. And that's what went wrong. You know why Clinton and Obama never got? Because when they merged to the FBI sector, that's when it was the last part of the Bush administration, because you know they get certain terms, the father and the son ran. They had merged with the FBI and they became stockholders, investors, and shareholders, which that's why Trump can't get Clinton's charged for those human rights abuses and that Pizzagate and some of these other Saudi Arabia princes and these other country tycoons and presidents, because that's, for one, violating trading with the Enemy Act. That is an espionage violation act. That is the RICO violation act. That is the Human Rights Abuse Violation Act. That December 21st, 2017 executive order. It should have been and have been acted through other law names and titles and numbers, just so you know. And I'm invoking, enforcing, and asserting it today in this public announcement and broadcast. So when the 50s and 70s happened with the old FBI, or should I say the FBI and the CIA, which used to be Bureau of Investigations, they engaged with these Nazis, Germany researchers that engaged into those MK Ultra projects. They was known as Operation COINTELPRO, Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird. Some of them even called it Operation Silent Talk and Synthetic Telepathy, where they were supposed to inject the soldiers with these neural mesh implants to where they supposed to be able to do like synthetic telepathy, like telepathy to where you can think what a person is saying, you can know what a person is saying, you can see through what that person see through these microchips and technology known as nanobots, nanotechnology, and smart dust. These act as mimicking agents to the microchips that are acoustic. They also attach to your optical nerve and your auditorial cortex. Some of these microchips are also known as crucifixion implants, which is Armageddon software, where it looks like a stent or a little octopus in your heart, but it's actually something that is Area 51 extraterrestrial alien government citing finding technology when some of those aliens and species, John Helner, the prime minister, and also Putin was coming out about Atlantis rising. A lot of those alien species was living near the Earth's core. And with the shift in them illegally using those technologies messed up a lot of energy in the earth core. That's why you're having a lot of those earthquakes and a lot of those volcanoes and everything erupting, and some of the water of certain lakes just disappearing. What they did with those amount of those Area 51 technologies, which are known as artificial intelligence, that we call it, and how they got artificial intelligent robots and everything seeming so lifelike and real. They have been taking these Area 51 that they deem as classified and confidential and either mimicking them, cloning them, altering them, and testing them through humans before they put it through the artificial intelligent robots that's making it look more human. Remember that movie I, Robot with Will Smith? Pretty much that's one way of looking at the artificial intelligence and how it stemmed from that movie, because it traces back through them using military family members and their soldiers with the technology they found from those Area 51 crash sightings, and they contacted it. Some of them was already domiciled here in the Earth core before the government was enacted, and that's how the government got favors. They traded technology, and other ones. Some was contacted when they put the satellites up. The UK have a satellite past Earth core. China and Korea have a satellite up past Earth core in space, and so does America and a few other parts of the globe. And with them having satellites, that's how you got the internet. That's how you got TV. That's how you got television and everything else. And it's drawing currents of energy to be able to project through HD and other quality here of how we got the internet. Remember them old IBM systems and Johnny 5, I'm Alive. Remember that movie? Me, Johnny 5, I'm Alive. Those were the old integrated systems back then, and those were the old bulky wiring before it became wireless. IBM, Apple, Macintosh. And those were some of the systems that the Nazis, researchers, and the CIA and FBI was stemming in those Operation COINTELPRO paperclips and Mockingbirds was using when they was activating some of those Verichip and Trovan and Digital Angel microchips that they was also putting in military family members, which is supposed to be animal tested only, which don't make it right, but it was put in the military family. So imagine you being the muscle as the military, going out fighting for our country. They say, do as I say, not as I do. You go fight, win the war. They get this money. You come back with prosthetic limbs and not enough money to take care of you and your family, or dead in a box and not money left for your family. And then the families of your people who served in the military are illegally being researched too, just like the Tuskegee Project and the other ones. Well, that's what happened to me and why I had to give you a brief introduction of what's going on. I'm going to take a small break and I'll be to you back after these messages. Suttles with UC7 Private Investigations. You can email me at UC7 Private Investigations with the letter S at afterinvestigations@gmail.com. I'm also here training at the Minneapolis Telecommunications Network Studios, located at 820 18th Avenue Northeast, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55418. You could contact Val or Troy at 612-331-8575 or contact www.mtnstudios.org. My current training session is for TV production, stage setup, and also I do have talent that I will be exposing. The current channels you can air at is channel 16, which is the government access channel where you can do public announcements and legal notices. Also, channel 75, where you can promote your artistry skills. If you're an upcoming artist looking to be discovered or learn the TV industry, come check us out. Also, channel 75 deals with the faith and the gospel. And if you have the spoken word or you want to give some part of your faith out, all religions are welcome. Come down to the MTN studios located over Northeast with the address I just gave and ask about any memberships or promotions. This place make you feel like family, and you will come in like a cocoon shell and blossom out like a beautiful butterfly learning the TV industry. My current television production name is Uc7 Galactic Productions, with the S after productions, the number 8 at gmail.com. Today I am here bringing you a public service announcement, and this is not the easiest thing I had to do or have to do. I am a military family member of some illegal research projects done, like the Tuskegee Institute, when they was injecting some of the military soldiers and their families with that syphilis and LSD, and doing those old MK Ultra projects. Similar to that, mine's is a little bit different. My grandfather, Leonard Johnson, and it's spelled, I think, LeonardJohnson. He might have had it spelled different on the military records, which if I'm putting on public notice, I'm subpoenaing the rest of Leonard Johnson's military records. Also, I'm also subpoenaing Curtis Hall. He was also in the military records, and Donnell Hall. He died in 1986 from a murder. And Barbara Hall records at 821 Virginia Street, Gary, Indiana, 46402, back in the early 1980s when Hollywood members was getting their big break, like some of the other, like Foxy Brown. Remember the movie The Mac? Remember the movie The Original Gangsters? Foxy Brown movies. A lot of those actors that started off, it was in Indiana when it was booming then, and a lot of the movies were produced back in Indiana. This is when the Illuminati of the USA America chapter had engaged into trying to join the other parts of the Illuminati. Illuminati is spread through 33-degree chapters, and it's not spread throughout the 52 plus states. It's actually spread out through the whole Earth's planet. Like they have the Scottish Rite, they have the Bavarians, they have the Rothschilds, they have the Bilderbergs, they have the Queen Elizabeth royal family, they have the Vatican's chapter, and there's many other Illuminati members. America, when they was merging into the Hollywood and the movie and television production industry, got a lot of their big breaks in Indiana. Well, in the 1950s and 1970s, y'all remember that Nazi Germany, Hitler, the killing of the Jews, and they gave asylum to some of those Nazi soldiers, just like they gave Al Capone asylum in Minnesota. America gave asylum to those Nazi Germany scientists that came from the Hitler concentration camp, killing of the Jewish people. Anne Frank, that the one who did the diary, that's real. Some of their soldiers got asylum here in America. And around the 1950s, 1970s, the CIA and the FBI was formed. They worked with some of those scientists, and they started engaging in legal research projects that was supposed to be on humans, which doesn't make it right. But it was also done on, animals, but it was also done on humans. It's called the MK Ultra Mind Control Project. It was done through Verichip, Trovan, Digital Angel, even like through the credit bureau companies, you know, Experian or Equifax. I know one of them subcontracted another name as an investor and shareholder back in the day too. These are microchipping, known as acoustic microchip. They have auditorial nerve, like microchip and auditorial cortex, your nervous system. It connects to your auditorial. If you can see, this is one of the oldest microchips malfunctioning right here at the bottom of my voice box. This is some Trovan Verichip or some other version that's malfunctioning that the government refused to remove. And I'm having health problems. This is another microchip that is malfunctioning, that is connected to the back near my spine, and it's also malfunctioning. The reason why I'm having to walk you through the series, because you need to understand the seriousness of everything that's going on. I'm going to try to segment out these clippings to at least 7 minutes. So I will be to you after these commercial break. But I'm going to break down and I'm going to start back to the CIA and the FBI.